Who do I have here? What is your name?
I'm Stephanie, owner of Bungee QC.
My name is Jennifer. Jennifer Goldsberry.
I'm Adam Helke. I'm with Built QC.
I'm Casey Cup.
Jennifer Cup.
What advice would you give somebody that's moving here that's never experienced the Quad Cities?
If you're moving from a big city, is actually a strength here.
Yeah, not just a community, but really belonging.
It's a place that you want to make sure that you get to at least once in your lifetime.
Definitely take the chance and bring yourself.
Now on this channel, I talk about everything about living, playing, eating, sleeping in the Quad Cities, and it got me thinking, who else would know more about living in the Quad Cities than local business owners? So I took it upon myself. I got onto Facebook and I asked the question, who locally would like to be on the YouTube video? And I got an overwhelming response with over 200 comments and more than 50 DMs. And we've come down to final 4 businesses that I'm gonna go out and talk to and get their perspective on what it's like to live, eat, play, and sleep in this community. So come along with us as we go see some of these businesses. And let me tell you, some of them are really interesting. So you're gonna wanna stick around to see what those businesses are. So let's go.
So our very first company that we're going to go see is actually a home builder of all people. His name, or the company, is called Built QC. And we're going to one of his properties that is really, really cool. I believe it's like $2.5 million house. So it's gonna be a really cool thing. The owner's name is Adam, and we're gonna get exclusive access to talk to Adam and what he sees in his company as far as the community goes. So come along with us as we actually head that way. It's over by LeClaire. The house sits up on top of a hill. I think you really like how it looks, but let's go ahead and take a look.
All right, so I'm here with Adam. Adam, introduce yourself and let people know who you are and what your business is.
I'm Adam Helke. I'm with Built QC. We're a custom home builder and remodeler here in the Quad Cities. Been doing this now for 18 years. Love what I do, and happy to share it with you guys.
Awesome. So you've been here for 18 years. Obviously, you've lived in the Quad Cities at least that long, right? So, somebody that's moving here, what could they expect as far as like the atmosphere of living in the Quad Cities?
I'm originally from Clinton.
Okay.
So in moving here, I just want to stay close to family. I never really lived in a big city, so the Quad Cities was big to me. You can get anywhere in the Quad Cities pretty quickly, and I think it's great for family life.
Yeah. I think that's super important because some people are coming from a big city and some people are coming from a small town. I think we're a good mix in between both of those. Traffic, especially, when it comes to that. Now, obviously you're a business, so you work with a lot of different people moving in, locals. What would you say the biggest trend you've seen with some of your clients when they're building a home and working and living here?
I feel like homes are continuously getting bigger.
Yeah.
That's a very common trend. When we started off, you could build a house for $300,000 and it was a very, very nice home. So everything's definitely trending upwards, and some of that's just because of cost and people's own desires and tastes. Primarily our typical client, they're middle-aged, professional.
Yeah.
That we work with. Looking back, that's I guess, what do you call professional these days? Well, diesel mechanics are professional. We've built for diesel mechanics, farmers, lots of people that work with deer.
Yeah.
So just lots of variety of people.
Yeah, I think that's important too. Like somebody moving here, there's jobs of all sorts here that you may not see some places. Like you said, diesel mechanic, John Deere, Arconic, all those big names out. Super important to know about if you're moving here. Maybe you don't have a job yet, which is really cool. Now, as far as your business, obviously we're in one of your current projects. Tell them a little bit about this house. It's really, really cool. We just took a tour and I almost got lost here.
This current house is approximately 7,000 square feet above grade, another additional 3,000 square foot below grade. We're standing right now in what is the pool room. Outside here, we got a large pool, and behind us, we're got a great view of the Mississippi. This is approximately a $2.5 million home, and it's great. It's one of the nicest homes that we've had the opportunity to build.
Yeah. I think that's a cool thing is, 2.5 for some big city is usually not that much of a house, whereas here it's pretty luxury. It's pretty cool to see just how much square footage and all the nooks and crannies. I mean, you got your finished guys here right now doing a lot of work on that, so it's really, really cool to see that. So you've been in business for a while. As far as the business itself, how do you think the community has really influenced your business?
So I think as a builder, you evolve with the community because the community dictates what the market wants. They dictate what price point you need to be at and what finishes people want to see. But other than that, I mean, things that the community has really influenced me on has been, for example, we have a subdivision down off of Home Street called Thomas Jefferson. Now,
Familiar with that?
now you can do, yeah, you guys live nearby there, right? So that community, what would have been the highest and best use there probably would have been like some kind of multifamily or townhomes because it would have been easy and fast and profitable. But the community didn't want that, and neither did we. And so what we got there is really a much better project. Single family homes, great front elevations. They sit across from the park. But half of the motivation of that project was the community and what the community wanted. And sometimes that'll, in the long run, as a business owner, that'll go a long way for you, a lot further than building a multifamily and getting out of there quick.
Yeah, I think that's super important because a lot of places I feel like you don't have that community aspect where I'm just going to do what I want, but you do take input from the community. And I see that in more than just your business. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I think it's super important to have.
Quad City is a big little place.
Yeah.
And you got to pay attention to it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And I agree with you. They're building a whole bunch of single family homes in there. And I like that because I'm in that neighborhood. So it's cool to see that. All right. So obviously being in business is not go high all the time. Obviously there's going to be some issues. What would you say some of the issues you've had and how's the community helped you get past those?
So recently, you might know this from other things I've posted, but social media is probably my biggest fear and my biggest obstacle. Speaking in front of camera, I'm not a great,
I'm making you do it.
not a great speaker, but I will say in the short period of time I've been doing it, you have your friends and community on social media that they do want to see you succeed, and they are supportive and saying lots of nice things and giving me motivation to continue to do this whether I like it or not. And I think people like to, ultimately, people, especially in the Quad Cities, like to prop people up and support them and help them get where they're trying to go.
Yeah, I absolutely think that. I mean, when I went to make this video, I put a post out there talking to the community, say, hey, what local businesses would like to be? And everybody came out, not just the business owners. It was people recommending businesses, which is really cool to see because we do have such a good community when it comes to small business. For sure. You probably felt that as well as I, so that's really cool to see. So what advice would you give somebody moving to the Quad Cities?
It's funny because I actually listened to 2 of your videos about moving to Quad Cities before, just last night or the night before.
Yeah.
And it's funny, some of the weaknesses that you provided there, which are great hooks and great points and stuff, were actually some of the things that the opposite side of that is what I feel are the strengths, oddly enough, right?
Yeah. That's the cool thing is sometimes I can take a topic like snow or cold winter, or I like a winter, but I know people hate it. So I'll use it and be like, hey, it's really great if you like this, this, and this, but you're not going to like it if you like this, this, and this.
Right.
So it's really interesting how that dynamic works. All right, so if you're talking to somebody, a lot of our audience is moving to the Quad Cities. What would you say a big piece of advice is when actually making the move here?
I think the best advice is to recognize what truly are the strengths and weaknesses of the Quad Cities. And in my mind, some of what people may view as a weakness if you're moving from a big city is actually a strength here. So the fact that you can get to everywhere in 15 minutes, the fact that we have great jobs, the fact that we have a low cost of living, I think these are all huge strengths. And you get the diversity of 4 different communities that you can play off of and frankly, use to your advantage.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Find where you want to be, get locked into that community, and then, really make it your own because there's so many different dynamics that can happen here in the Quad Cities. So that's really great advice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to take a little tour here, and then we're going to head on to our next business. So thanks, Adam, and we'll see you at the next stop.
Thank you, guys.
So this video is going all around the Quad Cities. We're heading to our second stop, and I think it's gonna be a really cool one. It's a gym that has you do bungees. I'm very curious. I've never been there, but it sounds a really cool business idea, and we're gonna see what that's all about. But I don't know. Maybe you'll see me jumping around, maybe it won't. You're gonna have to stick around. And by the way, this is a multi-day shoot, so you'll see several different flannels, and if you're gonna have a competition, I want you to put down in the comments how many different flannels you think you'll see on this video. Let me know. All right, let's go to the bungee control. All right, so we've made it to our next business, and let me tell you, this is a very unique business. I had a conversation right before this of how unique this is, but who do I have here? What is your name?
I'm Stephanie, owner of Bungee QC.
Awesome. So from the name itself, you can probably tell it's a unique business, but let's just get into that really quick. So you're Bungee QC.
Correct.
What is that?
We offer fitness for all types of people. Kind of takes the pressure off the joints, changes up your fitness routine, gives you something new to have fun with.
Yeah, so you're literally hanging by a bungee
cord.
That's right.
Yes.
And they're not just like randomly jumping around. There's actually like classes.
There's classes. I always say that we're not jumping off of any bridges or out of any airplanes, so people feel safe. But we have classes, we have private sessions, really different ways to work your core, balance, strength, flexibility, all of that stuff.
Needless to say, you probably get a lot of the community here. What do you think people say as far as living here in the Quad Cities? Like good, bad, ugly? Obviously, you get a really diverse crowd here.
Right, that's what I was about to say. We have a very diverse community within our Bungee QC walls and out, but I would say that we have a good mix of everything, mostly great. We've got such a wide community here, so it's really awesome to have those people come in and be happy that we're here located centrally.
Yeah. What would you say the number one thing the gym community likes about the Quad Cities?
All of our awesome events. The BICS, we're home of the BICS, the Quad City Marathons. But I would say that the gym community itself, the people in it become families like so instantly.
Yeah, I think that, especially for something like this or CrossFit or whatever.
Yeah, you really have that family vibe within like friendships that last a long time. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you've been in business how long again?
We're going on 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
So in that 5 years, what would you say your biggest struggle was and how the community helped you get through that?
Sure, I would just say getting the word out. You know, just making sure that people know we are here is one of those big things, and word of mouth is huge. And so we always have our core members who are out there screaming about us, but then we have those that come in for private sessions that then spread like wildfire. And once they post, then you know you've got even more people from outer areas and all of that. So
yeah, you're telling me you had some family come here from Indiana?
Yes, yep. She set up a surprise party for her sister's birthday. So then like there was the cousins, the nieces, the daughters, all of them came together, and that happens actually more than I assumed it would. Someone gets word, they Google Bungee Fitness, and it leads us to us, and then there's always someone here in the Quad Cities that someone knows.
Yep.
So if you travel out of town, you're gonna find someone you know from the Quad Cities, most likely.
Yeah, it's always interesting, you know, when you do travel and they're from the Quad Cities, you're like, oh my God.
Right. Or I'm from Des Moines, or I'm from here, or I'm from here, you know, and you're like, oh, you're so close, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is so cool because it is such a unique business. The Quad Cities really isn't that big of a metro when you look at like Chicago, San Francisco, all that, but we still have a really cool, unique core of small businesses.
It's so true. Like, I really feel like we've got that small town life with like a bigger area, and you just don't realize it until you meet person after person after person. You're like, oh, you live in the Quad Cities? Oh, you live just in Moline, or, you know, so I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. So, you know, QC Bungee is obviously a unique business.
Bungee QC, I'm gonna have to.
Oh, sorry, I get them mixed up.
I know, Bungee QC.
Anyway, it's a unique business, but what inspired you to start a business like this?
So I love fitness, but I also am not traditional. So I used to run all the time. I've ran the BICS a million times. I've lifted weights at my own gym, all of that stuff. But once I got an opportunity to try Bungee Fitness, I was hooked literally and figuratively. So I was hooked, and I just got that feeling that there was going to be so many more people I could help, and in different ways. And when I love something, I take it over.
Yeah.
So I was really blessed to be able to do that.
And speaking of helping, you were telling me a story before we started recording. Tell that story, because that's a really neat story.
We had a friend here that has cerebral palsy, and she walks with canes, and she has her whole life. She's lost more mobility as she's grown older. So she Googled bungee fitness after seeing it on TikTok, and then found that we were here. She stopped in one day just to, by chance, see if I could help her out with something. And in the midst of it, she just kind of dropped her cane, stood, just feeling very safe, and like, so tears, everything. It was a very emotional moment. But that's what I look for, is helping people that, like, non-traditional way, because you can't always just come in and lift weights and feel that community sense. In here, the moment you step into bungee fitness and you're in here with us, you're stuck with us. We're your family.
I think it goes to attest to your character, but on the whole, for a community, I feel like we have that where we're trying to help each other out in any way possible.
Yes.
So it's really cool to see that as a story right here.
It is. It's very, I love it, and it inspires me to do more.
Absolutely. All right, so you've lived here, you've got a business here, you obviously know the community. What advice would you give somebody that's moving here that's never experienced the Quad City?
I would say that if you are looking for a balanced life with opportunities to grow, that this is like our own little hidden gem here in the Midwest. We're just a great location, and there's so many possibilities, so definitely take the chance and bring yourself.
Yeah, bring yourself over,
bring
and
your
then check
family.
out her gym when you get here, because it's going to be interesting. We haven't done this yet, but she tells me I'm going to be hooked up to a bungee.
We're making them
so you might see me bouncing around, I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much. Again, tell the people your company name and your name.
We are Bungee QC. I'm Stephanie, the owner, and I hope to see you soon.
Awesome.
Or, and I'm always like, I'm gonna release my first bungee album, and that's gonna be the first song. Like, Go ahead and put that on Jump you up, just kind of. There you go. You can hang, you can try some.
So we're going to a great place. It's called Buttercup Candles, and I've had some interactions with them indirectly. They've been sponsors for some events, some community events. So I know their company, but I'm very excited to find out a little bit more of the details of their company and how they interact with the community beyond what I've already known. So very curious what that's going to look like. They're located in LeClaire, of all places, but they actually have multiple locations. Their manufacturing facilities in, I believe, East Moline or Moline. I can't quite remember. I'm sure we'll find out. But their storefront is in LeClaire, and LeClaire is known for its downtown area. So excited to see what they got going on. But let's head on into LeClaire and see everything that's going on with them. Let's go. Arrived at Buttercup Candles, and I'm excited to go in there, but here's the thing. When I came up with this video idea, I reached out to Facebook on a group and asked local businesses who might be interested, and obviously I cannot interview all of them. In fact, I got over 200 requests and like 50 or 60 DMs. So what I did was I actually went through that whole list and made a list for anybody that wants it of all the local businesses that were reaching out to me. So if you want that, it's in the link down below in the first comment and also in the description. So let me know, or just go click on it and download it. But for now, let's go ahead and head on into Buttercup Candles and see what they're all about.
So I've made it to Buttercup Candles here in LeClaire, and I got the two owners here. What are your guys' names?
So I'm Casey Cup,
Jennifer Cup.
Awesome. And yeah, the name makes sense with the Buttercup candles. So you guys have been in business for how long now?
So it's been 5 years this January. Most of them.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So as a part of being a business owner here in the Quad Cities, you obviously interact with a lot of different people when it comes to business. What would you say the number one thing you hear as far as people enjoying the Quad Cities here locally?
I think people just love the small town atmosphere, and yet we still have things that larger cities have. So I think there's just a big draw of just a real sense of community and just lots of options, lots of things to do.
Yeah, I think it's great too, just the fact that when we say the Quad Cities, it's Iowa and Illinois. You can bounce back and forth, and all of the Quad Cities just lends itself to so many wonderful opportunities, great small businesses. And the really thing that's great about this community is their support for local.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, your guys are a good example because we're in your LeClaire location, but you actually have, what, a Moline location?
Yes, so Moline is our manufacturing facility. So that's where we make everything. And we live in Rock Island, manufacture Moline, have the store in Iowa, and we have her at the farmer's market in Davenport. So we're kind of like all over the place.
Yeah. That's really, really cool. So, somebody that's moving here that, likes that community, how do you think they could get involved in the community?
There's so many ways to get involved. I think starting with, what you've showcased on your channel, they'll get some good options, but also, the Visit Quad Cities has a lot of things. They're good at keeping their calendar updated to show you kind of what's going on. And, one thing that we've talked about too is, we're born and raised here. And back in our dating days, back in the 90s, it'd be like, gosh, what can we do this weekend? And now you almost have to pick and choose. There are so many fun things happening. So I think, looking on some websites, seeing what local things are going on, and you can get right in there and get to know people.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. I mean, I'm not from here originally, and Visit Quad Cities was a thing when I moved here. I use that calendar all the time.
Yeah.
It's really cool that all the community, business owners, anybody can put anything in there. And I do hear that a lot. I had a client that moved here from Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, of all places, and they're like, is a move that was by the Army, so there's not a choice. And they're like, well, there's not going to be anything to do here. They moved here, and they were so surprised at how many things were available, because I think each of the Quad Cities has its own vibe, and they kind of compete a little bit, but also collaborate.
And if you want that big city feel, you can eat. We're so centrally located. You get to Chicago for the day, you can go to St. Louis for the day. I mean, you can make these short little jaunts to bigger cities and then still enjoy the cost of living that you get from the Quad Cities as opposed to being in a Chicago or something like that. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say too. And it's like you can go have the big city experience, but also there's so many little tiny towns around us that sometimes they've got some really cool stuff going on. So you get a little flavor, a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very spot on. It's big enough, but small enough at the same time.
Yeah.
That's really cool. As business owners, obviously everything isn't sunshine and rainbows. At a time when you were maybe struggling a little bit, how did the community really help you with that?
Again, the community has always been supportive of shopping local, and we hear all the time, like, people say, I don't go to big box candle stores anymore. I only buy Buttercup candles. And that's just such a blessing to hear. And that feedback is just great. And they just always come out to support us no matter where we're going. It was like, even when we had a Bettendorf, we tried a store in Bettendorf for a little bit. Didn't work out the way we thought. Everybody easily pivoted to coming out here, because we already had this established out here too. So it's like, you just feel the wind at your back, which is the community.
Yeah. So a lot of support, no matter where you're going, as long as you have told people about it, they usually gotta come and support you. That's really cool.
And I think the farmer's market too is another big part of that piece too, where that's one of the spots that we started, and you just get loyal. People love the Quad Cities, and they love knowing that something is made in the Quad Cities, and they know the faces of the owners, and it's not a franchise. It's like we started it from the ground up, and people really love that because it gives them, I think, just that pride in their hometown.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's something I've discovered just showing up, is that you're actually on the farmers market committee.
Yeah, I'm the chair of the board. Yep.
That's right.
Chair of that board. Yeah.
So you're very familiar with it.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome. You know, obviously you have people supporting in the community, as you guys have stated, but how would you describe your customer base overall?
So I think we have two customer bases, which is very interesting. So we have, like when it comes to our candle making, you can come out and make your own candles. It is such a diverse group of people. You have grandma and grandpa bringing their kids out. You have like your wife. Yeah, they had the bridal shower out here, and you have the date night people and the young kids' birthday parties. And then as far as on the, I think the candle shopping side, you know, it is very broad, you know, because everybody loves candles. Yeah. That customer base is definitely that, you know, 28 to 50 female, you know, and they
really care about what they're burning in their homes.
Yep.
They're very conscious of, you know, we use soy wax from soybeans in Iowa. So they're really careful about what they're bringing into their homes. They're very conscientious of their ingredients. So
yeah, and it's hard to target. It's actually been hard to target that specific person because it's been just floored us how much people have just love our product, and it's a diverse group of peoples. And so I think if you boil it down, it's Quad City and it's everybody. Yeah, which is great.
To me, it sounds like you have like an entertainment sect and a purchasing sect.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
and I see that with a lot of businesses is they do have like workshops or whatever, as well as the retail part, which is really
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So one final question for you. So for somebody that's watching this video and they're thinking about making the move to the Quad Cities, what would be one big piece of advice that you would tell somebody?
I don't know how to sum it up, but you know, whenever Casey and I travel, we always come away with saying we are so thankful for where we live. It's beautiful here. People are so friendly. You know, sometimes when we go places, it is really Midwest charm. Like sometimes I'll have to tell them, turn your charm down a little bit, because it's not like that in other parts of the country. But here, everybody is just so warm and friendly, and they greet you. And so I don't know if I could sum it up in one word, but just charming and inviting and welcoming.
Just get involved.
Yeah, you guys. There's tons of community. Yeah, not just a community, but really belonging.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear. Oh, awesome. Thank you for your time. You know, beautiful show.
We appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing all the knowledge.
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. We did the interview and they are so generous. They actually gave me 2 of their candles. One is Vanilla Blush, the other is Cozy Cashmere. Now, I like candles. I'm not gonna be afraid to admit that, but honestly, these are more for my wife. She loves vanilla flavored, and both of these have vanilla flavored. Obviously, Vanilla Blush is probably more of the vanilla, but hey, I think she's gonna like it, and that was so generous of them. I am super excited. But that means we are on to our next company, and I think it will be a fun one. So I guess we gotta head out and see what that's all about. By the way, this has been videoed over a few different days, so you know, we'll see what the weather's like on this next one. But let's head on over and see what the next business is all about. All right, so we are headed downtown Davenport. Actually, we're already here, and we are going to a business that me and my wife actually thoroughly enjoy. It's called Doodads, and they are a estate sale company. That's how we know them, but they also have some storefronts of all sorts of collectibles. It's really cool. I really like it. You know, if you're into garage sailing or estate sales, they're the company you need to know when moving to Davenport. But we're about there, so we'll take you inside and see what it's all about. It's pretty cool in there. We're here at Doodads and we're waiting on the owner. She's just a little bit behind, but check out this stuff. So this is an estate sale business, and they have just about anything that you could want. If you want some legs, check out the legs. but they have so much stuff. I mean, you can see all the way back there. I'm sure she's almost here, but I'll show you a little bit about the store and then we'll do the interview and see what this business is all about. It's really, really cool.
All right, so we made it downtown Davenport to Doodads of all places. I'm here with the owner. What is your name?
My name is Jennifer. Jennifer
Awesome.
Goldsberry.
So you've been doing Doodads. Tell a little bit about what Doodads is and how long you've been doing it.
Absolutely. Well, I have been doing the Doodads thing for, a couple of decades, almost 25 years now. And it's a twofold business. I do have some retail storefronts in the Quad Cities. And then I'm very, very lucky to have another portion of my business where I liquidate estates. So I'm in the heart of everyone's home at one point or
So
another.
needless to say, you've met quite a few people that live here,
I
right?
absolutely have.
What would you say the overall vibe of the community is here?
The community here, I believe they're a hardy community. We're very resilient, of course. We're hardy Westerners, as you know, with our winters and things like that. But I feel that we're also a community that loves history and our roots. And it seems like everyone, whether they have moved away and came back, they really care about their connections here, and they can still consider the Quad Cities home.
Yeah.
And they seem to really be interested in a lot of our local history.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think you have an interesting perspective on that because you do estate sales, which sometimes you get some historical items in there, I'm sure.
Absolutely. We've done some incredible estate sales, of course, here in the Quad Cities over the past few decades. We've done some interesting folks here, and then we've done some just amazing homes, jam full. And it's really fun to find vintage or older things from eras gone by in this area. It shows us things that we might not know if it even existed here.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Now, in those, what is it, 25 years you said?
Yes.
In those 25 years, I'm sure it wasn't all rainbows and unicorns. I'm sure at some point you may have had some struggles. How did the community wrap around you and help you as far as a small business owner goes?
Well, you're hitting right on it. Having been a small business for that long, this business, my business, has survived, Y2K. We had some recessions, 9/11, of course, the pandemic. I could just go on and on, all the different things that the business has survived. And for me, all those have been challenging, especially with retail space and in public sales and all the things that we come across. But what I've noticed is there is a certain loyalty in the community here. And I've been so grateful that they've always supported my business, and I'm still here, so many years later. And in those times, they've really came together and just supported even my small little business. So it's nice to see that community that I met so many years ago at my first location, which was in Moline, really has set the foundation for relationships that I still have today.
That's crazy.
It's pretty cool.
Everybody seems to stick together really well.
They do. I literally have people that I feel like, even though it doesn't seem like it to us, we've already, almost 30 years have gone by and they've been shopping Doodads and things like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we actually just met one of your loyal clients here with the dog.
We did, yes. A very loyal client, yes. Energetic, which is what we like here at Doodads. So of course we like that energy, and that's really it. I think all those years ago when I first opened my shop in Moline, it was in a neighborhood catty corner from where I lived.
Yeah.
And it was like you never knew what was going to happen when you came in the shop. That's really been true for all 7 locations that I've been in the sense that, it's almost like a party. You don't know what's going to happen when you come in. It's like, we used to call it like a honeycomb or an ant farm, because there'd be people coming in, coming out. You don't know what they're going to collect, what stories they're going to share with you, whether it be from today or from 20, 30 years ago. Everybody's got a lot of knowledge about maybe what they collect, so you always can learn new things. It's a pretty neat place to be.
Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. Now, this channel is all about people moving here or relocating here. What would one piece of advice you would give somebody that was thinking about moving here but weren't quite decided yet?
Well, I can say that the Quad Cities, it almost feels like we're in a bubble here. Even though, of course, we're not unaffected by the world events and things like that, but I still feel that this is a community that's relatively safe, and there truly is so much to do here. If you just do a little legwork, and you don't even have to really do that much legwork. You have just a mecca of arts, entertainment. We've got antiques, shopping, great food and restaurants. So you've got a lot of that, I don't know if I'd say big city, but that urban feel but we still have that great traditional small town
Yes.
vibe here in the Midwest. We're friendly.
Yeah.
And again, if you don't mind a little cold now and then,
Yep.
I think you're doing all right. We've got the beautiful Mississippi, of course, as a backdrop. And oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
can't deny some walking on the river.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why I tell everybody it's big enough to have a city feel, but small enough you can still get away from it all, which is really cool.
Absolutely. And how cool that we actually are, so close, two states so close together. And, the Quad City is a little deceptive in the sense that those 4 cities have really expanded. And now we've got quite a large area.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's really awesome. Well, any final thoughts before we hop off here?
well, I would just say, the Quad Cities, whether you're coming to live here or coming to visit, it's a place that you want to make sure that you get to at least once in your lifetime.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we'll get this out soon.
So obviously we've learned a lot from all these businesses that are local, what it's like to live, eat, sleep, and play and run a business here. But if you're moving here, you're gonna need somebody that is a partner for you. And that is me. I am a real estate agent here in Iowa, in Illinois, right here in the Quad Cities. So if you're moving here, give me a call, send me a text. I would love to help you and your family find the right home and right neighborhood here in the Quad Cities. So we'll see you then. But if you want to see what the area is like, check out this video right here.